Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have a dynamic, accomplished gentleman that I'm happy to have the honor to be sitting with. He's done some amazing things for the youth across the nation, as far as I'm concerned, and definitely here in the city of New York, and he's still doing some amazing things. I'm talking about the president and CEO of the Center for Black Student Achievement, Mr. Dennis Rahiim Watson. How are you, sir?
Successful, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love that sound.
And I have to say success because you're the chairman of this Wall Street project. So we're not talking Main Street project.
Yes,
we're talking Wall Street. That means that you're serious about helping folk to develop levels of knowledge and sophistication to better spend their money. That rather than work for money, we let the money work for itself, so we can be a part of that group of sophisticated entrepreneurs that think before we spend and operate on intelligence as opposed to emotions. It's like, why am I running out and getting an SUV and buying a fur coat and living with mom in the projects when that money could be invested by some intelligence? Because we're told growing up that mama said she ain't raising no fools. So that boy in this world will take you out. You must think I was born yesterday. You live in my house and pay the rent, put food on the table, clothes on your back, money in your pocket. So therefore the expectation, we know what time it is. And once we've got a purpose, and what I love about your show is that you highlight people that are about something. That are going places and doing things.
Those are the people that's going to take us. We don't want to take the next generation to that mantle.
And this is, listen, this is if Barack Obama was in town right now, you know what he would say? Go for it. Let's get busy.
That's what I'm talking
because you're representing what Barack Obama is all about.
Thank you, sir.
Success against all odds. And no excuses.
And that's
don't want to hear no stuff. You're going to the people. You've got a great set here. You're a powerful, dynamic interviewer, and you've got a vision about who we could be.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about, because I'm about success.
And I like to say, and I like that you say, who we could be. I like to think that who we are, it's just like a chain. A silver, sterling silver, it can be priceless in certain arenas. But it might got a little tarnish on it. So it is that priceless piece of furniture or whatever, utensil, whatever the case may be. But we just got to polish it off a little bit. We got to remind it of its true shine. So I like to want to be the reminder of whence we came. I mean, the Urban Wall Street Project is simply a mirrored or parallel to what we did, 100 years ago with the Black Wall Street. Not the hip hop Black Wall Street. I'm talking about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where we owned, planes, and we owned hospitals, and we owned colleges, and we owned, period. Ownership is king. And we lost that somewhere along the way, and definitely with education. So the fact that you reached out and you're all about working with the youth, and I'm definitely have a program, Young Producers, where I give young individuals the same opportunity to do what I'm doing, and hopefully breed new writers and producers that come from the urban communities. So that's what it's always about. So that's why I entitled this Urban Student Achievement, because my goal is to achieve greatness for all students of urban America. And that doesn't mean children. You could be 45 years old and be a student in some course. So students, for me,
to the end.
Transcends everything.
From as Malcolm would say, from cradle to the grave. And we got to study. And we have a generation of, we're the most technologically developed group of young people on the planet today. And I know that because I come up out of a generation of a transistor radio. Black and white television, black telephone, 45 78s, where you put a nickel or dime on the spindle to keep the music going. So I come up in a generation where we had nothing. Spam, sardines, Vienna sausage, potted meat, corned beef in the can with the key used to break, cardboard in your shoe, lard on your legs. I mean, we had nothing but everything. But we have a generation that has everything and sometimes nothing. And nothing means that if you don't have a strong moral, spiritual core, you're not going to make it.
And that's it.
You're not going to make it in this town.
And that's my line. I tell you,
you're not going to make it.
And it's just that simple. What do you mean I'm not going to make it? I mean, you're not going to make it. I mean, when it happens, you won't be able to sustain. You won't be there.
Well, look, I don't think that Barack Obama would have gotten any attention in Chicago. And Chicago is a city. It's a powerful city, which produced Jesse Jackson, Minister Farrakhan, and Elijah Muhammad, and Conrad Worrell, all of the heavyweights, and Jet and Ebony, all come out of Chicago. Just imagine Barack Obama running for presidency with tattoos up and down his face, with do-rag on his head, sagging pants, talking nonsense. First of all, he has to say to himself, whose shoulders am I standing on?
Right.
Marcus Garvey, Paul Robeson, Adam Clayton Powell, Elijah, Farrakhan, Malcolm, Jesse. And Jesse, and I give a prop to Jesse because Jesse has introduced me to all of the major economic leaders, both black and white, at his Wall Street project
and that's
that he has every year at the Sheridan. And also John, you know, we got a brother, we got people out there that are doing. Mark Morrell, who is the president of the New York Urban League, who is on 120 Wall Street.
Right, I got a brother coming up, be doing another show shortly, and he's named Sidney Joyner from the Urban League. So yes, a lot of things happening, and that's what it's all about.
And you're in the mix.
You know, because I'm in it and I feel it like each and every day. Like
you know why you're in the mix? Let me tell you why.
Why am I in the mix, brother?
Because you decided to be an innovator and a creator as opposed to being an imitator.
Yes, sir.
Hello. So people have to look at you because you create what other people copy. And what we have to do is be original because our mothers and fathers gave us back in the day. Mama used to sing a song that said, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." And my papa would say, a small light turned on is better than a big light turned off.
Right.
So what you do on this set, you are able to drive and inspire and direct and motivate people to be a better selves because it's all about purpose. And if you've got a purpose and you've got a sense of confidence and you've got a sense of stick-to-itiveness and you've got a sense of determination and drive, and Les Brown wrote a book not too long ago, about 5 years ago, and I thought the title was corny.
Okay, what was the title?
I thought it was corny. You've got to be hungry to be successful. I had the title in a frame on my mantle in my office.
Yeah,
you got to be hungry.
You got to be hungry.
If you're not hungry for success, every opposition, every degree of rejection will keep you knocked down. But Muhammad Ali said it best. Muhammad Ali says, no matter how many times you get knocked down, the key to success is keep getting up.
Exactly.
And you and I have been knocked down many times in life. You're here today. I'm here today because we keep getting up.
That's right. And that's what the Urban Wall Street Project is about, is inspiring people to get up and know that they can do it.
Absolutely.
For me, you know, it's very important to be rooted because, you know, a lot of times when I talk to young people in the community, one thing they say, they feel that they can relate to me.
Yes.
And I don't wear a tie. Most of the time you see me on the show, you probably never seen a tie, maybe once. But of course, I wear the tie. I can get corporate. We can get corporate. Don't get it twisted out there, my people out there.
Sure.
But sometimes you gotta know how to, you know, reach their people.
Sure.
But when my young people, the generation that I knew I needed to reach when I started this show 2 years ago, weren't wearing ties.
Yes.
And if they saw another person in a tie, black or white, they were just going to click the channel.
Yes.
But if they heard something that made sense from somebody that looked like them, it might win.
Yes.
And we're here today 2 years later and we're going international. So people are feeling it because it feels believable.
You got my attention from your show, looking the way you look, because even though you may think that you are off duty, you don't have on a shirt and tie.
Right.
But let me tell you something. You're on duty. You're on duty 24/7. Black men have to be on duty 24/7 if we're going to survive in the 21st century.
Yes, sir.
We don't have time for a nap. We don't have time for nonsense. We don't have time for games. We have no time for silliness. Look, listen.
I tell it to kids every day.
Life is a relay.
I say you don't really have that luxury.
You don't.
In your quest for urban achievement.
This is my challenge to you, young people. I love basketball, I love football, but the thing that excites me most is the relay.
Yes.
Now, and so if I've got the baton and you're a black man and we're running towards victory, while you're waiting for me to pass you the baton, I don't want you out there text messaging or on your phone or talking about you listening to Little Jock or Little Jeezy when you ought to be running ahead waiting to receive that baton.
Right.
I don't want to hear no nonsense that you just had a joint. I don't want to hear nothing about you that you got a pain in your leg. I want you to grab that baton. I'm ready. Be on your post. be focused, pay attention, and after you claim the victory, you can text message somebody and tell them that you won.
Exactly, and that's what it's about.
Do not let technology get in the way of your purpose.
Exactly. Now I want to talk about it because we could talk and inspire the people, and I love this type of commentary and dialogue because it gets me it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough, even though sometimes I feel like I need another hour in a day, but it inspires me to keep going on and be motivated when people feel and appreciate what I do. But I want to talk about your presence with of course the Center for Black Student Achievement, as well as being the chairman for the Youth and Gang Violence Task Force. I want to talk about that. How'd you get involved with those organizations?
Simply, I'm a high school dropout. I was kicked out of high school 37 times back in 1969, and I was saved by a young Columbia University PhD by the name of Dr. Edward Carpenter, who opened up a school for dropouts in Harlem in an OAMP called Harlem Preparatory School, and my professor back in 1970, 71, 72 was the eminent historian, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen.
Yes.
So Dr. Ben was my teacher. And so because somebody gave me an opportunity and saved about 10,000 African-American males and females and gave us an opportunity to go to Harvard's and Stanford's and Smith's and MIT's and Morgan's and Morehouse's and Spelman, I made it my life mission to reach back and help like I was helped.
Right.
Because without Dr. Edward Carpenter, I wouldn't be anybody. Without the leadership of Malcolm and Marcus Garvey and Paul Robeson and Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan and Reverend Y.T. Walker in New York City, without that, I'd be nobody. So I don't have a job.
Right.
I've never had a job in my life. I mean, I've had some jobs, perfunctory to pay the bills.
Right.
But I have a mission. And you can be fired from a job, but you can't be fired from a mission.
Exactly.
My mission is to help young people become the Barack and Michelle Obamas that we need to be in the 21st century. Johnny Cochran, one lawyer who defended O.J. Simpson. When he defended O.J. Simpson, he was surrounded by some of the smartest European lawyers this country has ever produced. But Johnny Cochran was so rooted in the black experience, in the black poetry, in the black ethics, in the black ethos, that he summed up to the jury in 7 words that O.J. Simpson was not guilty. Now, that had never been done before in life. He said to an audience, the whole country, simply this, in poetry, in rap: if the glove, it don't fit, you must acquit. The glove that you say he wore didn't fit him. He was off. So we need to be creative and innovative, and we got to study. If I have to say anything to this generation, brothers and sisters, if you come to my home, you'll see albums and CDs, but what you will see is thousands and thousands of books. I read vociferously. I just read. I read five or six newspapers a week: Amsterdam, New York Beacon, New York Times. I go online for the Wall Street Journal. I go online for the Washington Post. You got to study. You got to read. You got to study. Don't be distracted by hip hop. Don't be distracted by music. Don't be distracted by nonsense. We got somebody coming on that's an author. Right. I applaud anybody who's written a book, any black man that gets away from all of the nonsense, puts his mind on paper, produces a book, produces a CD, produces a press package, and goes on out there as an independent.
Yes, sir.
And tries to market his product in the marketplace. I have tremendous respect, because that's how Barack Obama got started. 2 books.
And why not do that when you would probably do that for someone else if you're working at a record company? You want to do that job.
Absolutely.
You really want to do it for yourself.
You've got a guest coming on.
Yes.
That's about that. And that's what we got to be about. We got to take folk under, and I tell you why, getting back to the Center for Black Student Achievement, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been into all of the major prisons in New York City. I've been guest speaker at all of the major colleges and high schools in New York City. When I'm in my jeans and got my sneakers on the weekend, I'm hanging out.
Right.
I'm on the 2 train, the 4 train, the D train, and I'm on my way somewhere. Somebody would tap me on the shoulder and say, "Mister, you don't remember me, but you spoke at my high school graduation 5 years ago, or you came to my college, or you came Thanksgiving to the women's prison. Or you came Christmas to the women's prison and you gave me a message of strength to hold on and to reconcile with my children or their children's daddy. So those days when I got $3 in my pocket, $3 in my pocket, somebody will remind me of my mission.
Yes, sir.
Not my job, because you could have a job working for a nonprofit, and when somebody sees you, they say, are you still with the boys clubs, or are you still with XYZ?
Right.
But once you got a mission, your mission is why you're on this planet. You're on this planet. And so we got a mission. And our mission is to save this generation. And we got to save them. And brothers, in particular, look good, look like Denzel, look like Barack. Even when Barack is casual, he still looks like a king. When you're casual, because it's not your wear, it's your attitude.
Yes, sir.
You got the attitude of a king. You got the attitude of a prince. You got the attitude of a winner. So when you walk into a room, nobody says N-word. When you walk into a hotel, they say, can I help you, sir?
Yes, sir.
When you walk into a restaurant, what type of table would you like? The word for you and I, sir. Because we don't act like the N-word. We don't talk the N-word talk. So when we go out in the word, we get treated like sir, because that's who we are.
Exactly. Like I said, we're already that person.
We're already that person.
You know what I'm saying? Now, and the reason we say that, the reason I have to say that, because we could easily choose or opt to use the N-word.
Been there, done that.
But because of our status and who we recognize us to be, based on what we've come from, we've evolved to, we've adopted from our progenitors and our own observations, we understand that, you know, urban achievement comes from representing yourself as a king.
You tell people who you are by your appearance and how you present yourself.
Yes, sir.
And so people got 30 seconds to assess you. I'm watching your show, I'm impressed. I've assessed, I said, I gotta be with the winner. I'm sitting here tonight with the winner. This is not my show. This is your show. I came looking for you, to applaud you, to support you, to energize you, and praise you. To say, Earl Christian, keep the show going. If there's anything I can do, audience, if you gotta back this black man right here. You gotta back him. You got to back him. You got to support his team. He got a great team, and you got to support him, because this isn't nonsense. This isn't booty call time. This is wake up call time, not booty call time. This is the Wall Street Project. This is not the booty call project.
We get an urban Wall Street.
It's all done. It's all done. It's all done. This is the time for us to throw up our hands and say, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Almighty God, Allah, because we got brothers out here who are representing what we ought to be. And you're representing, brother.
And I really appreciate that, brother. I definitely appreciate it. And understand, I don't do this for that.
Sure.
I do this because it's necessary, and I don't feel like I'm doing enough.
Brother, you're doing what you have to do. because see, it's either going to be this way. It's either going to be all for one or one for all.
Yes, sir.
And everybody has to chip in and do what they're supposed to do.
Right. And that's the whole theme. Like Obama said, it's not about me. We all have to do this.
It's us.
This is a role.
My mother and father laid down the law. Law number 1, I ain't raising no fools. Lesson number 2, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. Lesson number 3, you must think I was born yesterday. You live in my house. I pay the
rent,
put food on the
table,
clothes on your
back,
money in your
pocket,
shoes on your feet, and I'm not taking any of your
mess.
Go ahead. Brought you in this world,
take you out.
And if you think I'm going to go to my J.O.B. each and every day while you lay up in bed watching General
Hospital,
One Life to
Live,
all my
children,
you got another thought
coming,
because homie don't
play that.
You need an education 7 days a
week.
Come on now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Eat up all my macaroni and
cheese.
Drink up all my Kool-Aid. What color's the Kool-Aid?
Red.
That's what I'm talking about. We got the message. We got the knowledge from the crib. Sometimes, I just want to deviate what we do with the Center for Black Student Success.
Yes,
we go into high schools, colleges, universities, teaching young people what they already know.
Yes, sir.
What do they know? They know from their mama. Mama said to me, my mom used to say 2 things. My mom said a million things, and this is what we give them. Sometimes my mother would cook food that I didn't like.
Right.
I would go to my bed, whining, huffing, and puffing, and pouting. Mm-hmm. My mother would sit on my bed with a big smile and said, son, whether you eat or not makes no narrow minds to me. But listen, this is the big lesson that's coming. Whether you eat or not makes no difference to me. The lesson is you're only hurting yourself.
Right.
Okay? Sometimes we go on out. If you're out at 16 years old, hanging out with druggies and doing all sorts of negative stuff, and you got beat up by the head by a police officer, you get shot 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, if that happened to me, rather than my mama blaming the police, my mama would simply say this: I love you, but you brought this on your...
What were you, self?
Or say it again?
Self.
You brought it on yourself.
What were you doing there?
Come on now.
What were you doing there?
What were you doing and what were you
thinking?
And the key to success, young people, is you got to think. That's why you got a brain. Nobody can outthink Barack Obama because the man has mastered English. He has mastered books. He's mastered knowledge. He loves Malcolm. He's studied every major scholar on the planet. We have to be masters of the English language. And recently, I was so impressed with the during the Academy Award evening when the children from Empire, the movie.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire. They
right.
had these 8, 9, 10, 11 years, and they had mastered English where they were so excited. And it was, and I'm saying, that's what we need. We need diplomats. We need a new image of who we are all across the planet so that people can take us seriously. So when you say, this is the urban Wall Street project, people know you serious and you taking your business. So when you tell people that we have to give back some of the money that we spend in these communities throughout New York to causes that we're connected to.
Right. All causes.
All causes. Every cause that we got, our causes.
Right.
We people can't come in our communities, open up supermarkets, open up banks, and at the end of the fiscal year, give back nothing. We got to demand accountability for every dime.
It goes to everything. You open up a laundromat. I go into a place, I go in with a nice establishment. I always want to meet the proprietor.
Yes.
Let them know, what I do in the community, blah, blah, blah. And, and if you're a Chinese restaurant or, Italian restaurant, whatever, have you given any culinary arts scholarships? $1,000. If not, that's a problem. Now, here's an option. You can do one and be in collaboration with Urban Wall Street Project. If you don't, I will put the certain tie on because then people think it's the news and they'll watch. And I'll be in front of your establishment, letting people know that this particular merchant does not support you. So why are you supporting them?
Absolutely.
You don't want that.
Yes.
If anything, any publicity is good publicity. Well, I think there's some people in the hip hop industry right now would beg to differ with some of the issues they got going on. So it's not always good to be on the tip of people's tongue, doing something positive.
Listen, I have problems, and I love hip hop, and I love hip hoppers, and they are entrepreneurs. They've done more. Hip hoppers make more in a year than Barry Gordy made in 30 years with the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, the Miracles, Boys to Men, Four Tops, Mary Wells, Marvin Gaye, on and on and on. But we need to say to folks, we've got all across America and throughout the world, you've got fans that spend buku cash on your products. You have to, at some point, realize that brothers and sisters at Morgan and Morehouse and Lincoln University, Howard, Spelman, they need some scholarships.
Yes, sir.
And what is $100,000 to somebody who has 50, 60, 70 million?
200,000 on their wrist.
Absolutely. And all we want, because we're not thinking correctly, all we want from a hip hopper or a rapper is an autograph, while Bono is running around the planet along with some other white boys holding up the flag, trying to get this government to intervene on issues that we could intervene for ourselves, but we would not intervene in Africa or Haiti if we don't intervene in the Bronx, on Fordham Road, on 125th Street, or in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
Accountability.
Without question, and that's the key. And that's the key issue, and that's the key catalyst point to me to urban student achievement. Urban achievement is dedication, is commitment. It's just, just laying down a line and doing what needs to be done, irrespective. I remember watching Ray, and he said, when the guy brought the lights down at the Orpheum, the brother brought the lights down, and then Ray asked him, he said, what? He said, when the lights came down, I guess now he can feel it. When the lights came down, who told you to do that?
Yes.
And he said, nobody told me. It just needed to be done.
Yes.
And he said, I love that. I love that.
Yes.
He said, that's the answer I want to hear as opposed to, it's not my job. And that thing kills me when I ask kids that in the school and the young producers, oh, can you pick that up? That's not mine. It's not my job. But it's somebody you know. And if it's in your community and it will affect you, it is your job.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And now let me tell you, brother, I'm so pleased to have had this opportunity to talk. I got about, 120 seconds. So I want us, and really, succinctly just really break it down and let the young generation know, as I do every day, from my elder, that I respect and admire, and I definitely appreciate you being here. Let them know what you want them to know, brother. Let them know around the world, because we're talking about Denmark, Switzerland, Croatia, Belgium, Brooklyn, Manhattan, California. We everywhere with the message.
We're talking that self-definition. When I wake up in the morning and I give God the praise, the thanks, and the glory for dear life, I'm thankful. Lord, thank you for that. I wake up, I'm an African American. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. What's the last 4 letters in the word American?
I can.
And African?
I can.
Dominican?
I can.
Puerto Rican?
I can.
Jamaican?
I can.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Mexican?
I can.
And Canada starts with can.
Right.
So when you wake up in the morning, I have an African American attitude. Also recognize that America is still the land of opportunity. You'd agree?
Yes, sir.
You'd agree America is still the land of opportunity?
Yes, sir.
What's the last 3 letters in the word country? Try. If you're going to function in this country, you got to try. So we're giving folk the message. The message is the race is not to the swift or to the strong, but to those who endure it to the end. My father said it best. He said, son, if you want to be successful and live a long time, simply look at what other brothers are doing and do the opposite.
Exactly.
And do the opposite. I do the opposite. If they got tattoos all around their head, none for me. Exactly. That's your choice. Because eventually all of your nonsense is going to catch up with you.
Definitely.
It's going to catch up.
Definitely.
And I give mama praise. Thank you, mama. Thank you, dad. Thank you, aunts and uncles. Thank you, all those who have been responsible for my growth. You don't get to be over 50 by being stupid.
Not at all.
Mama says she ain't raising no fools.
That's right. Of course, you've been watching the Urban Wall Street Project. What more can I say? It's been a dynamic show. I hope you learned something. I hope you felt the energy. You keep watching. We're going to be at a city near you. Urban Wall Street. Stay positive, mindful, prosperous. Be a friend to your neighbor. Peace.
Barack Obama's proud of you. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. Great. Pleasure.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, everything.